The purpose of this Pecha Kucha is to critique and give suggestions regarding the trends of sustainable food sources and food waste reduction stemming from environmental conscious consumption. The presentation will investigate the corporate event sector, giving specific examples on how conferences can address the challenges and opportunities that have arisen by using academic and industry data. Environmentally conscious consumption is one of the key concerns in modern society generally and increasingly amongst the consumer population, Surenko et al. 2013. An example can be seen in a report by Nielsen stating 39% of Americans are incorporating plant-based foods into their diets due to the trend of consumers judging their purchase decisions based on how they will affect the environment. Swapomatic.com suggests that the definition is also concerned with the effects of media and advertising on consumers, suggesting they can be influenced by this. A demonstration is that social media has played a role in highlighting issues through the endorsement of celebrities who talk about their political standings via their platforms. The tangible aspects of this can be seen via events such as climate protests involving celebrities. Assessing Papalador et al.'s view of presumption being an activity undertaken by consumers in order to produce products to be consumed, it's suggestible that we could evaluate this trend from the viewpoint of consumers following idols and adopting a conscious mind state, encouraging them to consume a more sustainable lifestyle. This demands for industries to produce new products for them. Evaluating this, an opportunity has arisen for the corporate sector to adopt these idolisms for delegate loyalty. Viewing Yeoman's 2013 observation that consumers expect companies to respond to environmental issues and Nielsen's research that 66% of socially conscious consumers believe that companies should support sustainability, conferences have the opportunity of a future shift towards sustainable food sources. These consumers can be captured by offering a wider selection of plant-based meals, which will consequently be a tool for adding industry value. A case study of this point is the Copenhagen Business School's report observing the effect of reducing their environmental footprint by 44% just by switching to a vegetarian menu at their conferences. This tells the industry that ethical awareness can have a contagion effect to the environmental impacts. The challenge for conferences is that business as usual is not acceptable. Cooper 2019. Beacon created a consumer report and found that people would be prepared to pay up to 50% more for a meal if it was sustainable and included regional produce. We can use human to support this view by identifying consumers make purchase decisions based on their environmental value rather than the cost because they desire more than mere functionality. This again supports the suggestion that conferences immersing themselves in the sourcing of sustainable foods. Cooper stated that we are faced with the challenge of living in an age where food systems are built for previous eras based on non-renewables, and the conference sector needs to be seen actively responding to this issue. From this point, I present the view that we should twist Beacon's research findings and begin to charge delegates more for non-plant-based products. To support this claim, I present the concept of plastic bag consumption in the UK. Surenko et al. 2013 discussed retailers being faced with environmental taxes, and instead of absorbing them as environmental business costs, they began passing them on to consumers in the form of charging them for plastic bags with the claim that it was to encourage sustainability. Ivanova and Tranter 2004 and Headland 2010 highlighted that consumers are willing to accept direct price premiums, and the trend of reusing bags only emerged when they were forced to accept these environmental sacrifices. This willingness to accept costs should be utilized by charging premiums for livestock products as opposed to sustainable sources, increasing the interest in the latter. Leading on from the issue of sustainable food sources, it's surprising that conferences have not come under larger scrutiny for waste epidemic, as mass food waste is the result of many conferences. With obvious oversupply, there is a waste of resource, time, and money. Jones 2017. Evaluating this could pose a suggestion that an eradication opportunity is taking delegates to the food rather than the other way around. A benefit of this idea would allow the conference sector to support local, sustainable restaurants and reduces the challenge of over-catering. Tangible evidence that this would produce is the reduction of food volume and packaging. However, the critique would be that this is only plausible for smaller conferences and business meetings. According to Angus and Westbrook 2018, the want for a plastic-free society has also increased in the last 12 months. Leading to 2020, the industry needs to create plans in response to this. The UN estimates that 30% of global food produce still goes to waste, with McDonald 2018 finding that the event waste equates a global loss of 1 trillion each year. Analyzing these numbers, it's hard to ignore the need for sustainable conferences. Lang and Frost 2010. In accordance with Cooper and his view that we need to offset, mitigate, and adapt, we can take inspiration from Jones in creating food salvage or redistribution process plans and not uncovering unused food in order to donate the remainder, as well as the consideration of reusable packaging, for example, glass instead of plastic. Brown et al. 2015 used the Meeting and Business Event Competency Standards to present that there is a significant gap in existing event evaluation research and methods, and an industry-agreed model of the evaluation process is an essential step. From the suggestion of this, developing a sustainability plan for conferences would be beneficial because it can be implemented and evaluated in order to measure success in developing the industry's sustainability and demonstrating its environmental responsibility. MBECS ISO Brown et al. 2015. We can see this idea again with the United Nations statement that a sustainable event takes full account of its future economic and environmental impacts by addressing the attendee needs, the industry, and the environment. Lang and Frost 2010 note that delegates may not be supportive at first for these new greener conference implementations. Therefore, organisers need to ensure they are in fact constant in developing their knowledge surrounding information needed to support the desirability for this new kind of event structure. Steps have been made, however. In 2011, the UN reported the Global Reporting Initiative launched a supplement that required event organisers to have a culture for sustainability. For measurement of success, however, more needs to be done to ensure the culture is being upheld. This could be done via the implementation of tariffs and penalisation for non-participation in the offset of sustainability issues. As mentioned, there is a gap in event sustainability research, and an industry-agreed model of the evaluation process is an essential step. Brown et al. Research needs to be undertaken to propel the future conference, as not enough is being done in the present to tackle our impact. Of course, future prediction is an issue due to ever-changing circumstances, but the present should be recognised in order to see our success and failures.